Hey everybody, welcome to day 5 of our Kratom Addiction and Recovery Daily Devotional series. Today we're going to be reading from Psalms again, and it's going to be in chapter 73, verse 26. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and portion forever. I've often talked about this, that when I was in my kratom addiction, I didn't know how to stop. There was nothing inside of me that knew how I could even go about it or how I could ever be free from kratom. And it began with a very simple prayer that, God, please help this to not feel okay. Please help it to not feel good anymore. Although it hadn't been feeling good for a really long time, I had still been finding small amounts of relief when I would take my doses. So that was the first step in beginning the process of moving towards quitting. And then from there, I started to pray for God to be my strength, because I knew I didn't have it on my own. I had been in my kratom addiction for 2 years at that point, and the second year had gotten really dark and really hard. And I had no idea how I was going to get out of it. I was at 40 to 60 grams per day. And if I would go any longer than about 3 to 4 hours without dosing, I would go into really intense withdrawals. I wasn't able to sleep through the night because I would wake up in that time frame needing to dose again. So things got really, really bad in those higher doses. And so I didn't know what to do. I didn't know any way out. I ended up finding a quitting kratom subreddit about a few months after I quit, where I saw other people who were going through kratom addiction, and they talk about ways that you can quit. But at that point in my addiction, I hadn't even heard about anything like that. And I didn't even know that kratom had the potential to do this. So I was completely alone, and I didn't have any way of knowing any way out. So it really helped me to turn to God. And as I started to pray for Him to be my strength, things started to happen that I never expected before. I started to taper down. I didn't know what I was doing, but I slowly would taper. And that process lasted a long time. It was a year-long taper. But then towards the end, God was really strengthening me. And throughout the whole process too, not just at the end, the whole process, He was strengthening me and giving me the strength that I didn't have, like this verse says. And it says, my flesh and my heart may fail. My flesh and my heart had failed at that point. I was helplessly addicted to kratom. And so to really see God manifested in my life and the strength that I didn't have made real in my life was absolutely amazing. And then it says, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. And so I moved through the final part of my taper and my quit. And again, I knew nothing about anybody else who had gone through kratom addiction or withdrawals or recovery. And God literally carried me through it and was my strength. And any time that I hit dark moments where I didn't know if I could make it, I would pray. And it didn't need to be any sort of complicated, fancy prayer. It was just very basic, like, God, please help me. Please, Lord Jesus, help me. Please be my strength. And it was absolutely amazing what happened. So I share a little bit about my story and my testimony with you to encourage you wherever you're at, that God will be our strength. And when our flesh and our heart may fail us, God will be our strength. So with that, I hope that you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.